Welcome back to EdVantage. I'm Professor Steele. Today we are looking at our thinking problem where we're looking at conversions from Cartesian to polar and polar to Cartesian coordinates. So this particular problem, we're given our Cartesian point, and I want you to be able to think and visualize this. So let me do a quick sketch on our Cartesian plane or our rectangular plane. -4, 3 happens to be in the second quadrant. So we want to be able to give this point in terms of r and theta. Recall the relationship. Our r value, if we draw our little triangle, is the square root of our x squared plus our y squared, which happens to be the square root of 16 plus 9, which is the square root of 25, which gives us 5. So the radius is 5, but we need to determine this angle. And recall we use our inverse tangent relationship. Inverse tangent of our vertical over our horizontal. So inverse tangent of 3 over -4. So using our calculator, the inverse tangent of 3 over -4 is approximately -37 degrees. Now that seems to be problematic because -37 degrees would be down here. So we need to be thinking, I want the angle that goes all the way around. That -37 happens to tell us that we have a reference angle of 37 degrees, which means that the actual angle we're looking for is 180 minus the 37 degrees. And that is equal to 143 degrees. So -4, 3 in polar coordinates is equivalent to 5, 143 degrees. Alternatively, we could have solved this in radians, not degrees. As long as we make sure our calculator is set to radians, we would have had a different angle measurement. Now let's look at converting from polar to Cartesian. Polar to Cartesian, we know that x is equivalent to r cosine of the angle and y is equal to r sine of the angle. 5 pi on 6 happens to be one of the angles that we should know the exact value of. Again, let's do a quick visual. 5 radii out and all the way around to 5 pi over 6 puts us again in the second quadrant. 5 pi over 6 has a reference angle of pi over 6. So in the second quadrant, my x value should be negative and my y value should be positive. If you recall, the cosine of pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. So we happen to have 5 times radical 3 over 2. Sine of our reference angle, pi over 6, happens to be 1/2. So we have 5 times 1/2, which tells us that our polar coordinate, 5, 5 pi over 6, becomes 5 radical 3 over 2, 5/2. Again, you're welcome to use your calculator to come up with a decimal approximation, but note that these are exact values versus an approximate value when you use decimals. Thanks again for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.